Hello everybody, welcome back. This week has been a lot more busy than I thought it would be, but we're back with Alpha 2 Omega. We've only done one day this week that we've been grinding, everything else has been AFK. So if I go to my Concord Pass, you can see we've done the Concord Pass. It was all completely AFK. Pretty much set it to 15 minutes online, 30 minutes online, and 60 minutes online, while I was just sitting here waiting. We also are working on our blue and white galaxy, so we're at level 16 right now. Hello Jenner, how you doing today? And we have the possibility to get up to level 31, I believe, in 3 days. I doubt I'll be able to actually do that. It's gonna take a lot of points. No, certainly not. I am, by heart, always a missile fan. Lasers, I used a little bit in my original account, but not very long. I pretty much only used it to fly the Apocalypse and the Apocalypse Striker. Back when those were brand new ships for us. But yeah, certainly this is not my favorite way to play Eve Echoes, but it's good enough. It does the job. While we were away, we finished our laser operation or something like that. So now we've got that extra 10% reduction to capacity. I think I'm gonna pick up the Cruiser Command this time. That'll help us with the next ship that we're getting. So let's see here. Cruiser Command needs 316,000. I have 315. 18 minutes. Not bad. Let's see here. We are maxed out on small lasers. We are working on medium lasers at some point. So I wonder if I can get both of these here. Yeah, there we go. So what I've done there is when I added this one to the list, it removed this one. So I just went back and added this one to the list in order to finish it off. As for our Concord Pass, we are at 33 of the 36,000 that we need. I'm pretty sure we're gonna end up going for the industrial skills, because these will have quite expensive skill chips that we could sell. And I believe there's even better ones in here. Wonder if we should pick those up at some point. Anyway. So we're not quite there. I was hoping we'd be getting that today, but unfortunately not. Alright, let me just make sure everything is ready to go. Let's check our stats real quick as well. 249 DPS. Seems fine. Seems pretty normal. Nothing crazy here. Let's check if there are any new omens on the market. Just a little bit of a checklist of things that we're checking on. So about 20 million and we can get ourselves an upgrade. This will give us some 4% activation time for our lasers per skill level. So that is 20% faster activation time, which will pretty heavily influence our DPS quite a bit. It'll probably bring us from 249 DPS up to maybe like 300, 315. And then we can make that even better with rigs. And then as for the maulers, there's a couple of them here. This is pretty standard pricing. This is a little bit lower than normal, but not too bad. Hello, Double Vision. How you doing today? Good to see you. So, that's the goal, I guess. I guess we're gonna grind toward the Omen today. We are 11 million right now. So, if I can get up to 19 or 20, we can swap over. But we really need to be around, like, 21 to 25 million. If we can help it. That way we can get some better rigs, but we don't need to go that heavily into it right away. Alright. That is good. So for now, we're just kind of going on the assumption that we're not going to have access to dormant realms until we hit Omega. That means we have to make like 2 billion-ish in order to access Omega, and then after Omega we can do dormant realms. That update is not come through yet. It is still about a week or two away. I think it's still like 2 weeks away. But, we're not gonna be at Tech 7 by then anyway. Let's go ahead and finish this off. Yeah, March 25th. So we're just gonna kind of operate on the assumption that we're not gonna have access to it for a while. We're still 2 months away from Tech 7. Yeah, that's, it's gonna be a little while. Yeah, I think it's better that we finish medium laser upgrade now. That way we'll have the best opportunity when we get the Omen and the Mauler. Right, is there anything that I'm missing as for going over the review of what we've done so far? I don't think so. There's been no new events, no new Concord, anything. When does this reset? Is it tonight? Or is it tomorrow? Resets tonight in 1 hour and 46 minutes. Yeah, so we'll have to remember that when that... Yeah, we'll be doing story missions. We will also be using our Concord points for the skill crates. You can get things like the industrial skill crates, which, you can actually sell these chips for quite a decent amount of money. Just gonna have to find a way to sell it to somebody. Because we're not gonna have a whole lot of money to actually put these on the market. Buy prices are way too low right now, so I'd like to find somebody who would be willing to buy these skill chips, even at a decent discount off of what normal price is. But we'll figure that out when we get there. Gotta see what we get first. Alright. I think I'm gonna stay around far in perimeter today again. Being 15 jumps away from Gina when we could get an upgrade pretty quickly. I'd rather just stay around here.
Autopilot engaged. Undocking.
Let's see if we have the right encounter here. Yep, advanced encounters, that's good.
Warp drive active.
I talked about farm and perimeter a little bit in the past, actually quite a bit in the past. But I haven't really talked too much about why I use farm and perimeter compared to like a high-sec island. The nearest high-sec island to Gina is Clortler. It's about 15 jumps away. It is a singular system where you can get a lot of missions out of without having to jump around. The next closest thing we have, which is actually right next to Gina, is a binary system, which is perimeter and foreign. This binary system is a system where when you reset in perimeter, you will receive missions in foreign. So that's what all these 2 jump away green missions are. That is a bunch of missions actually, this time around. What is that, 5, 6 missions? And if we reset in foreign, we'll get missions in perimeter. So we'll just go back and forth between the two, and not have to be 15 jumps away from Gina, in case we need anything real quick. Alright, very good. Now we just go to foreign, and we can start grinding.
Autopilot engaged.
Foreign being a 0.5 system, is really nice for the higher bounty rewards. And it also has a little bit easier enemies to deal with compared to perimeter. Perimeter, being a Caldari system, has really hard enemies to deal with, but we're fine. This ship performed quite well last time we played, so I'm hoping we can kind of keep going with that.
Warp drive active.
But I do really like Fart in Perimeter. It's a pretty comfortable location. You get a lot of variety. I find that some of the harder missions do actually spawn more often here in the binary system than you would find in Clortler.
Destination reached.
I don't think we'll be grabbing any loot today as we're going. We're just gonna try to run the missions and move on.
Active.
I need to grind as quickly as possible.
We're under attack.
Yeah, I think my auto orbit is off. There we are. Okay. There we go. Our current range on these lasers is like 17, almost 18 kilometers at 50% capacity. That's not too bad. I forgot this ship even had a turn bay. I'll be honest. It's not something I always think about when I fly it. I really should be using like a medium drone. But if I remember correctly, Nope, hardeners are passive now, so no need to turn them on anymore. That is only for armor hardeners. Shield hardeners are still an active module. Yeah, it was a recent change about a week or two ago, so very nice for us. It makes flying things like laser ships a little more easy, especially with the need for capacitor on the lasers. And it makes railgun ships extraordinarily capacitor friendly. I like it. It's definitely a nice change for us. When we upgrade to the regular Omen, I think I'm going to keep the fit very similar to what we have here, but I'll add on a damage module, and that should help us out quite a bit. Hello, Azim. How are you doing today? Welcome, welcome. Actually, I do kind of want to turn off the auto lock. I want to be able to rely on my lock all target button for everything, so I'm going to turn off the auto lock so we actually get to use it. Yeah, having a good time with that, aren't you? Something I did not go over, which I really should, is the missions that we're running for Blue and White Galaxy will have time online, 30 minutes and 15 minutes. We're also doing complete encounter missions 2 and 4, and then we're also completing 25 enemy ships.
attack.
I believe we should be on the highest graphics here. Yep. So we're getting about 465 armor rep per cycle. And then if we turn on our second armor rep, which we really won't need too often, it's just kinda to offset the incoming damage when it's really high. Yeah, there's a couple of little things that I noticed, not a whole lot though. Like you get a slightly better color gradient on the ship and its design elements here, but typically it'll be kind of similar in space compared to like in a hangar. There's more of a difference in hangar. But Ultra comes with its own bugs. If you are on Ultra, sometimes this extended list can get glitched. Where it'll extend all the way past your screen and then you can't see anything. But that's just one of the minor bugs with Ultra quality. Damage is feeling pretty good here. Not too bad at all. I can definitely say it'll be a lot nicer to have the Omen when we get it, for that extra activation time. There's some good volleys there. 1100 damage on a shield is pretty nice. This last enemy has no damage. So we're just gonna try to turn that off, save our capacitor a little bit. Ooh, 1,234. That might be our highest damage hit yet.
under attack. We're under attack.
This is one of those ways where we're probably gonna have to use the second armor repair just to kind of keep up. But we'll let it do its thing for now. Looks like it's keeping up fine though. I'll be honest. Our healing seems to be on par with the damage coming in. You know, I don't really know. Especially with the changes to Dormant Realm. It's kinda hard to say. I would at least like to be able to solo Dormant Realm 1. I doubt this account will ever be able to solo DR4. Especially now that it's changing to a level 10 run. It's gonna be really hard to get this account up to that level. I know in the very least I want to be able to do the Sansha large anomalies without any help. But that's going to require us to have a pretty tanky nightmare. Oh. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need, like, a level 45 pulse crystal implant. That would be a really good goal for us. We just need to figure out how to get our hands on an advanced pulse crystal implant. With the changes to Dormant Realm, yeah, it ain't gonna be cheap, I'll tell you that much. With the changes to Dormant Realms, though, I don't know what the solo account is going to be capable of. Oh, I saw 1,300 and something damage. It's not like this account is going to be able to work its way through levels 1 through 9 to get an idea of how good or bad it's doing. We just have to go off of the information that I have from my other accounts and hope that it works for the first run.
Warp drive active.
I'm pretty sure that once we upgrade to the regular Omen instead of this Omen Trader, we should be pulling about 2 million per bounty tick. Or very close to that. Right now we're pulling about 1.4 million per bounty tick. Could probably do a little bit better if I didn't have that second armor repair, but I like having that as a backup. Yeah, we can't fly the Navy because it needs advanced skills. We don't have Omega yet. Yeah. Requires advanced skills, so it's completely useless to us. Whereas at least on the standard Omen, we have... I've thought about it, but we need to be able to tank, and we only have 3 low slots. So... it kinda just works out better for me, at least, to do it this way until we get to the better ship. Yeah, I kind of need the semiconductor and the capacitor control. We only have about 5 minutes running as hard as we can. Being alpha. Yeah, when we upgrade to the regular Omen, we'll get an extra low slot. I think we're still stuck with 2 rig slots, though. So that's unfortunate. Let me see here. Yeah, still only 2 rig slots here. But we do get 4 low slots. Now, when we upgrade to the Mauler, we get a 5th low slot, which will be really good for us. But still stuck with 2 rigs. Don't really know where to go from there. After we get into the Mauler, I would hope we'd be able to do some cruiser level combat stuff. The Harbinger prototype would work. We'd be out of luck on the damage, but we could make it work.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
It's not too bad. At least with the Harbinger prototype, I think we'll be able to run a large armor repair, maybe? Actually, I don't know. Are those limited for us? Armor reps, large. Yeah, locked behind Omega. Okay, so we're stuck with the medium armor rep. Until we get Omega. That'll make it hard to do the Sancha content with it. Unless I could really take it out. Alright, 1.5 million bounty tick is pretty average for us, I guess. We're gonna go ahead and use our combination to double that, which means we got 3 million for one bounty tick. Gonna use this extra armor repair just one cycle to keep up with the damage. Get us topped off. Should have been using my webifier there. Yeah. You can definitely end up burning yourself out if you're not careful. Nice. That's a great choice, the Thorax. Very nice ship. Nice. Yeah, that's kind of the plan here. We're gonna be flying a Nightmare sometime near the end of this account's, like, maybe near the middle of this account's life. We'll be in a Nightmare. But I do plan on running a Succubus and a Crew War and the cruiser variants as well. Especially if I go do low-sec stuff, I think running the Blood Raider ships will be better for low-sec content. And then the Sancha ships will be better for high-sec. Yeah, Fiend and Phantasm, definitely gonna fly those. I want the Phantasm for maybe Dormant Realm 5 and medium Sancha content. Be pretty nice for that. I do wonder if it's possible for...
Enemy ships detected.
Yes, you can, but I don't have one on this account, unfortunately.
We're under attack.
We only created this account, maybe, like, 3 weeks ago. So we were not around at the time when that, or this character wasn't around when that came out. We don't even have the, Abundance Core that we should have, either. Or not the Abundance Core, the CyberX cores. We created the account on the day that we got the Cruiser, CyberX nanocores dropped to us, and it didn't give it to this account, so unfortunately out of luck. Maybe we'll have better luck with other events in the future. Yeah, I'll be amazing. I'll see you when you get back. This is going pretty well. Kind of expected that, though. We built this ship to be a little more tanky, just in case. And I honestly don't even think that we actually needed the armor repair bonus. We probably could have just gone with damage. So I'll keep that in mind when we get to the regular Omen, that I should just do the damage increase. Ooh, 1,560 damage. That was a good hit. With a ship like this, it's a lot better to just make sure you stay alive reliably when you're so limited on equipment slots. It'll make your life a lot better if you can just make sure you stay alive doing whatever content you're doing. So I'm expecting, like I said, around 300 and maybe 315 DPS when we upgrade to the regular Omen. It would be nice if we could get somewhere around 350, but I think that'll be hard for us to get to. Or at least it'll be pretty expensive. You know what I did not look at? I don't remember if the regular Omen has 2 drone slots or 1. It has 1 drone slot, okay. So we'll upgrade to a medium drone for that, I think. Get a little bit more DPS. Especially since we're not having trouble hitting the smaller stuff, I'd rather just have better application and beat damage out of the 1 drone that we get. Although if I had a choice, it would be really nice to throw on like a salvage drone, just so I don't have to think about it. And they're not Omega locked because they're a faction item. So having that salvage drone would really help us increase our income without having to do any extra work. $159 million isn't too bad to try to get. Something we need to consider.
We're under attack.
No, the salvage drone is all
We're
automatic.
under attack.
And it would just pick up everything that I have sitting around as I'm clearing these anomalies, and we'll break it down into minerals. The minerals are worth a lot more than what the modules are that we're getting right now. So it would be a nice little increase. And then we can use it later on when we're in the Sancha content. Realistically, we would set the orbit of the salvage drone to be like 10 kilometers from us. That way it would have a 20-kilometer gather range, instead of us having to go 10 kilometers to the item that we're after. And we definitely do need a hauler in the future. Right now our only hauler is a mauler. Not a mauler, magnate. We have a magnate for hauling right now. Could definitely be nice if we could get into scanning in high set. Something I'm gonna have to think about. It's not very profitable, but it might be a little bit more income if we don't want to just sit here running missions all day. I don't think this last ship has any damage. We're actually moving at a pretty decent speed with this ship. It doesn't really feel like I need the afterburner to catch up to things. At least not right now. God, the activation time reduction on my main weapons is gonna be so important. Especially for our clear time. My gosh.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
think it's been long enough that I can reset the missions here. And we want to do it before we hit that daily reset. Looks like we'll have to go to perimeter next. But, since we're going to be going to perimeter next, we actually might be able to get our new ship after that. I think we only need like one or, well, we need like 2 more bounty ticks, I think. Yeah, I think it's 2 more bounty ticks. This one and 1 more. To hit that 19 million, 20 million range. That'll be really good. After that, it'll be a pretty long grind to the Mauler. The Mauler being 60 million is more than we've made on this account in its entirety. So hopefully, when we get the Omen, honestly, is it even worth? Yeah, I think it is worth going for the Mauler. It'll have some passive armor resistance, and we can get some decent DPS out of it too. So I think it's fine if we upgrade to the Mauler after the Omen. If we're getting 2 million per bounty tick, or like 2.5 million per bounty tick with the regular Omen, then it'll probably only take us like 10 hours maybe, or less. No, probably like 5 hours to grind out what we need for the Mauler. Which is 60 to 80 million. It'd be pretty close to there, especially if we're using our combinations. Does this thing have any DPS? Or is it? Basically, it's a solo account, although you guys did vote on Discord that we could do harder content together. Things like Sancha, we could do together, we could do Dormant Realms together. We could do things like, Inquisitor anomalies together. You just can't join me on standard missions. So when we go to do that harder content, it'll be a good time for people to join in and we can fly together for a bit. Being able to solo an Inquisitor anomaly would be pretty nice. Alright, 1.3. So not nearly as good as the last bounty tick. But not too bad either. Okay, we're at 1890. So yeah, we need at least 1 more bounty tick. No, no. I'll stay at my own tier for now.
Enemy ships detected.
This'll be a good one.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
This'll be one of those moments when I'll need to use that second armor rep. The fun part will be seeing which one of you wants to try to carry me through Golden Realms on this character. Otherwise, I can carry myself, but I don't think that's very fair. Okay, so theoretically, and this is very theoretical, a Nightmare could solo Golden Realm 2. It would take a while, but if one turret went to each tower, and you would have to use the long-range lasers, the beam lasers. If one turret went to each tower, you could probably complete all of the towers within the same time. And just rely on the tank for the last little portion. That's very theoretical in thought. I know the goal is to complete it as fast as possible, but if it could do it, maybe it would be worth it. I don't know if there's like... Yeah, maybe. We might be disrupted too much. I don't really know what the enemy spawns are like for that. I know they spawn after each tower dies, but I don't know if there's a spawn beforehand, but like a timed spawn.
Warp drive active.
Dormant Realm 2 is one of those ones I don't think about too often. I haven't watched a whole lot about it. Everything that there is a fleet of people running it, which is very reasonable. Very standard practice for that Dormant Realm. But I do slightly wonder if the Nightmare itself could solo that. Especially if it doesn't spawn anything until the last minute. So I have no idea if there is a timed spawn there, or if they only spawn once you kill a tower. It does have an initial spawn? Okay. I know the Nightmare could probably solo DR1, but it would be hard. Wow, okay. Dang, 40 to 60 kilometers range lost. Yeah, that means you could not hit that far tower with just a solo ship. It would have been really nice to have the Cyber X Nano Core for the Nightmare. And get that extra mid slot on it. Have that extra Nosferatu would be incredible. Same with on the Valgorn. The Valgorn would be pretty incredible for Dormant Realm 1. Between the Nosferatus and the Web of Fire range, the Valgorn might be a better choice for Dormant Realm 1. And especially the reduction in need for capacitor as well, compared to the Nightmare. I just think the Nightmare is going to be a lot faster to move between towers. And having the shield tank as good of a tank as that ship has, I don't know. We're gonna have to do some testing between the Falcon and the Nightmare at some point. Valgorn might be a lot better for Sancha content as well because of its electromagnetic resistance on the armor. So the Sancha enemies might not affect it nearly as bad.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
Gonna zoom out a little bit here. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, it's very possible that the Valgorn will be a much better choice. Not necessarily. It's just that they're one of the few, laser faction ships that I have access to with this account. So it's either we go with the Blood Raider ships or the Sancha ships. My community voted on Discord that they wanted to see the Sancha ships more than they wanted to see the Blood Raider ships. So we're kind of focusing on that first. Not sure if you're part of the Discord, but I can put that here. Feel free to join in if you ever want to talk about any kind of E-Vectors, anything. Okay, cool. Cool. Well, thank you for joining in. I really appreciate it. What kind of ships do you normally fly? I know you mentioned the Megatron earlier. Yeah, I get you. I get you. I think people are very passionate about what they like. Definitely. Sometimes it gets to the point where it's their way or no way at all. But that's why I really like my community so much, is many of us are very open to discussion about what works and what doesn't, providing suggestions and information. Hi Snoopy, how you doing today? I'm very proud of my community for being so open with each other, whether or not you agree. That's cool. Yeah, that's a good multi-box situation right there. You've got pretty much one of everything. That's a very well-rounded setup. I like it. Boy, these Vexor navies really do take a while to kill. Feels like we've been attacking him for a long time. Actually, is this our... No, there's one more mission we have in here. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll return to Gina.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. We're being warp scrambled.
Nothing to discuss? Well, that's probably a good thing, having a quiet point in life. Ooh, very nice. You know, I really do miss running the Orca and 2 Governors. I haven't been able to do that over the last, like, 2 months or 3 months. Something like that. That's also why I haven't covered anything in Nullsec in a while. I've been moving things around and trying to get the new ships ready, and then all the meanwhile I've got a couple of different alliances coming through trying to kill everybody. So might as well just save the effort, stay here in high sec for a while, let them get bored. And when it quiets back down, I can get back out there. But man, it has been rough with how many people coming through our nullsec area. Yeah, you know it. You know it. That's okay. We'll let them have their fun for a bit, and when everything calms down, we get to have our fun. There's plenty of content in high-sec that I can show off. And especially this character here is going to take us a long time, so it's a good in-between. Yeah, you've been having a hard, what, 2 months? They like to come through and shoot at you, don't they? My goodness. I'm glad it's worked out, though. Lately, they've all been busy in the NPC areas. Okay, there's another bounty tick there. That'll put us at... That was a pretty good one. 1.5. And that'll put us at 21 million, which is actually where we wanted to be. I actually didn't think we'd grind this quickly today, but not bad at all. I was expecting this to take a little bit longer. So I think if we do this one last mission in system, we should be more than ready for our new ship. Ooh, nice. A 1.5 million mission there. Where was that? That'll be really good for us to complete with the Omen. That's a lot of income right there. I mean, that's one bounty taken, just the mission itself. Pretty sure that one's gonna have the battlecruiser spawn. So we'll see how that goes. I'm definitely gonna need the double armor rep. Now it should be... That one should actually be a railgun battlecruiser. That spawns in that mission. I don't think any of those battlecruisers that are in the Caldari missions have missiles. If they do, yeah, that'll be interesting. Railguns we can handle, though.
We're under attack.
Dang, I can't believe we actually hit it from 20 kilometers out. It's actually really nice. You know, I thought we would be flying the Oracle for this playthrough, but I really don't see the point if we can have access to the Fiend. And the Phantasm. The Fiend and the Phantasm are going to be significantly better than an Oracle. Yeah, Oracle's just more ranged, definitely. There's not many things that I would need that kind of range for. The only things I can think of would be, like, story missions out in Losec would be good to have an Oracle for. It's what I used to do a long time ago. But ever since scanning came to the game, I've just avoided it. It's just not worth my time to be scanned down and lose a ship. There's ways to avoid it, but I don't know. Until they add a realistic use of countering scanning, I'm just gonna avoid being in low sec, generally. I just don't think that docking every time someone comes to system is a realistic use of time, and it's not a very good counter for somebody who's scanning. I don't know. It's just my feelings on it. I really think there should be a better way to counter that. No, I hear a wyvern is a great way to get jumped on by 5 other super carriers. Now, one day that wyvern will leave where it's at and find a new home somewhere else, but for now, it is perfectly fine in a NPC station running Dormant Realms.
Enemy ships detected.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys want to join in on story
attack.
missions in Loset, by all means, feel free to join in.
We're under
I would
attack.
consider that content more than fair to have another person there. No tonnage limit on story missions. Yeah, these Vexor navies take a lot to kill. My goodness. Ooh, you got a Succubus set up? Nice. Succubus should do just fine with the small, Samsha. What are you not satisfied with? Jesus! How are you not happy with that? Also, do you even need the damage control? I guess you do if you're gonna use it for PvP. I don't know, 600 is really good for a frigate. Very few frigates get that much. Yeah, I think that that's what that was for, especially for PvP. 1,345. That's a pretty good hit. Yeah, I didn't really have a look at the speed. It looks like you have enough power grid to fit a medium afterburner. Especially if you get like a power grid rig, you might be able to throw a medium afterburner on that. No rig needed? Nice. That is one thing I really enjoy about the faction frigates, is they can at least take one module and bring it up to the next tonnage size. Things like the Cruor, you can throw on a medium Nosferatu on it, or you can throw a medium armor repair, which is way overkill for the Cruor.
Enemy ships detected.
This will be fun.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
I think this is wave 3, right? I wasn't paying attention. I'm pretty sure this is wave 3. So there's not nearly as much damage as I thought there would be coming in. I thought we would have a lot more problems with how close they spawned. We must have gotten lucky, and they must have the rifle railguns on them instead of the snub-nosed railguns. Because this DPS is not that hard to handle. We might be reducing that damage from the rifle railguns quite a bit. almost done with this mission. We'll head back to Gina after this. And then we'll get the new ship, we'll upgrade it a little bit, see where we're at, and then we'll do the missions in Perimeter. We've got quite a good selection of missions there. Hopefully we can finish this before we hit that bounty tick timer, though. Should do.
Autopilot engaged.
Off to Gina we go.
Warp drive active.
I would like to upgrade my armor repairs to the night armor repairs. At some point. So these are 432 base versus the Gorget, which are 372 base. That'd be a huge improvement for
Warp
us.
drive active.
But there's only one on the market for 14 million.
Warp drive active.
Oh, there's that bounty tick. And that should give us just enough buffer to get the regular Omen. I should just buy it right now as we're headed that way. Alright, for 19.9 million, we have bought our next ship.
Warp drive active.
That leaves us 5 million-ish to fit it with some rigs. Alright, upgrades, people, upgrades.
Destined docking request accepted.
Not too bad, actually. When we upgraded to the Omen, it only took us like 4 hours to get the ISK we needed. Yep, 5 million ISK to get some rigs. Well, I guess I ought to reconsider some other ships that I used to think were pretty useless. I should have just stripped the ship. Oh well. I'm gonna leave that small drone on here. See if we can get a medium drone that'll work. Alright. Oh. I also need to remove the research nanocore that we have. Alright, so here is our standard Omen. This is our upgrade from the Omen trainer. We're gonna have a better activation time with it. So right now we're at 5.25 seconds for the standard module. When we put that on, we drop down to 4.2 seconds activation time. And that's not even as low as it's gonna go. Damn, 60 DPS. Nosferatu. Wonder if I should try to get myself a better Nosferatu. They're a little bit expensive though. Throw on the two Gorget. Throw on the basic heatsink. And we're gonna throw on the Mark V adaptive. I'd really like to swap that out for a faction one though. I'm pretty sure I have a faction one on the Destroyer, but I want to keep it that way. On 284, with the current setup, we can fit the Research Nanocore on here. That'll bring us up to 316. Dang! That's a nice increase so far. And we still haven't done our rig, so... I definitely need some capacitor rigs. I'm gonna need some level 2s if I can afford it. Because 2 minutes and 58 seconds is not a long time to have 2 armor reps running. Now, that's not exactly accurate because if I don't activate the DPS increase, we have about 3 minutes and 18 seconds, a little bit less than that, because this is affecting our activation time. We're down to 3.98 seconds activation time. 79 DPS. Wow. Yeah, we've got some upgrades to do on this ship. Alright, so let's see if we can find a faction armor partner. I'd like to have a decent one, but I don't want to spend an absolute ton on it. 1.7 million is too much right now. That's okay, we'll go with the Pilfer. $1.4 million for a medium drone? Is that really worth 1.4 million? It would give us like 20 DPS, but it's not like a huge improvement for us. I don't know if that's worth it right now. Okay, so we're not gonna be able to afford the level 2s. Yeah, I only have 5 million-ish. Let's see. I would rather put that into DPS instead of capacity. So for now, we'll just go a level 1 semiconductor and a level 1 capacitor control. And then combat rigs. So do I choose to do the increased healing like I did on the regular one? Or do I want to go full DPS? I think if we're gonna run into the battle cruiser NPC, I'm gonna want the healing. So let's at least do the... What is it, the nano pump? No, we're not gonna go thermal or explosive res. We're usually pretty fine on that. Oh, 2.5 million. That would leave us with 1.3 for the DPS. Now here's a good question. Should we go collision? Because it already has activation time? Or do we go activation time? That's discharge. No, I don't believe so. I don't have any skills in it. Okay, we need to bring up BlueStacks here. So let me fire that up. Not BlueStacks, Sweet. And let's see if we can figure out what the better choice is. I can definitely check to see if it'll be cheaper. Um... Cruisers... Let me swap this over real quick. Game capture... 28. Nope, that's 28. There we are. So ships, cruisers, regular cruisers, we're looking for the Omen. Medium, we have Joust. We have a low slot with weapon upgrade, heatsink. We have a basic heatsink. 396 is what we would be at with that. Interesting. Alright. So... what we're looking for is whatever the biggest boost is to this DPS. So a collision accelerator 2 will bring us to 421 with max skills. Or a burst aerator 2 will bring us to 440. So 440 with 1,500 versus 421 with 1,600. I don't think the 100 damage. Oh, I'm tech level 6. I am tech 6. Yeah, definitely more cap drain. We probably... oh gosh. My bad. There we go. Sorry, this is gonna freak it out a little bit. Let's have a look at that as well. Change this to alpha. Is the capacitor really that much better on the standard Omen? Let me fit the low slots here with the double armor rep. And I need the mid slot. So I should be stable with 1. 4 minutes with 2. Let me put my engineering rigs. 1 semiconductor and 1 capacitor control. Yeah, that's not bad. 7, almost 8 minutes of running both armor reps. That's pretty good. Okay. Honestly, I wonder if we even need to care about the extra armor repair. If we can run both armor reps for 8 minutes, then maybe we just do the 2 DPS options. What? Laser collision. Laser burst. What did I do here? So normally we're at 299. $324 versus 324 at pretty much cap stable 55% versus laser burst 52% capacitor stable with 1 armor rep 332. Now the real question comes 361 versus 364, so it's still better to run double burst, even though the capacitor is going to suffer quite heavily. Is that going to make a huge difference for us? I doubt it. I think I'd rather have the higher damage per shot. So 1,191 versus 1,291. And save the capacitor a little bit. I could run double Nosferatu, but I do like having the Web of Fire. For those smaller ships that like to circle really fast. Yeah, I think we'll go with the burst aerator. And then we have to decide whether or not we want this healing. So normally we're at 372. But we could be at 400. 446. 800 and... What is that? 892? Healing with both armor reps? Worst case scenario, we'd have 6.5 minutes of double armor rep. And I think this is our fit. We're gonna go ahead and pick up the burst aerator too. And then, did I already pick up the armor rig? I don't believe I did. I can't go with a level 2 flight yet. So we'll go with a level 1. Alright, let's throw this Pilfer Adaptive Armor Hardener here. Gives us a decent resistance across the board. Not bad. Not great, but not bad. And then we will go with... Why do I have this? It's not worth it. It takes 2 billion ISK to unfit a ring. So 4.5 minutes. 446 armor repair per armor rep. 351 DPS. Yeah, you could. But better not use the IP in case I need it later on. Now I just gotta get a medium drone. And for 1.7 million, or 1.4 million, we can get a medium drone. And we'll make that back on the harder mission that we're gonna be running. So that puts us at 370. How bad was that increase? 351 to 370. Okay. So we're getting 18 DPS right now because we don't have any medium drone skills? Yeah, we don't have any medium drone skills, so it's probably better that I stay with the small drone. We'll carry the medium one in our hangar, or in our drone bay. Yeah, I'm getting 13 DPS out of the small, so we need some skills for that. Another 100 IP, which is really nice for us. How much do we have now? Have a good day, Double Vision. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Alright, so to replace this ship as is, it'll be 51 IP for the first loss. Maximum of 171 if we lose it a bunch of times. That estimated market price is wild. Is that because of the research nanophore? Oh, you guys can't see it very well. Give me a minute. There you go. I'm gonna move this follower thing down a little bit, I think. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Right. 365 DPS, which is way higher than I thought we would be. I'll be honest. I thought we would be a lot lower DPS than what we're at right now, so that makes me happy. Gonna have to train some medium drone skills pretty soon. We've got our thing there. We should also have the daily reset that came through. Let's see if there's any in perimeter. This is Neobiden, which might be really good for us to do, but it's one jump out. Do we just throw this ship into the nearest farthest mission first? So this one, Neobiden, yeah. Just make sure everything is correct here. It looks like it. That's fine. We've got 892 armor rep every 6.6 seconds. That's not bad. 4.5 minutes of capacitor on running absolutely everything. Alright.
Autopilot engaged.
So
Undocking.
I'm thinking this will go fine. Especially with the increased health, the better DPS.
Warp drive active.
No point in not being there.
Destination reached.
Alright. Let's see how bad this goes. We're gonna need it for the first one. The first mission that this ship will have.
Warp drive active.
It should be fine, to be honest. We're way higher DPS than I thought we would be. And if we do die, we can replace the ship pretty easily. Yeah, there's that.
We're under attack.
Same kind of range we're gonna have. Well, that's good. We've got a little bit of a buffer. Yeah, you can see the railgun shots coming out from that Ferox. Alright, now we're gonna start using our armor rep. Now we are cap stable with just one armor rep. Yeah, this will be fine. I can definitely feel it tearing through the Ferox pretty well because of the activation time. And if we ever need to, I can just run the second armor rep. And kind of keep up with the damage coming in. As long as we can tank all of the other ships that spawn, we should have no problem once we kill the battle cruiser. Something we do need to keep in mind is that time that we see here at 4 minutes and 37 seconds is with full capacitor and running as hard as we can with everything active. So realistically, we probably only actually have maybe like 3 minutes of running everything as hard as we can if we're down to like 50% capacitor. And that's like worst case scenario. Like I said the last time around, yes, thank you. We do need to reset our Concord missions. Oh, it's not even updated for me. I have to dock up again. Yeah, 3.5 seconds activation time right now. That is really, really good. That's way better than we were doing before. Almost a full second faster, I think. There we go. $60. Oh, I should have grabbed that 8 encounters.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack.
Definitely taking some hits here. Because we're going straight at them. And this will take me a minute. This is one of those situations where it'll take us a minute to get balanced again. But once we are, we will be fine. Let's see what he's got here. Looks like rail guns again. He was actually burning away from us, trying to keep range, so he was a long-range enemy. So with this active, we go down to 3.17 seconds activation time and 410 DPS. That'll be useful for us to take care of the battle cruisers that show up. We pretty comfortably sit at about 55% capacitor, 60% capacitor, somewhere in there. That's good. Even with an enemy with a Nosferatu on us, we're holding up pretty fine. I said this is pretty much the hardest mission, or one of the hardest missions that we could get. And it's going just fine. I would like to have this laser upgrade, but that's 12 days away. Man, why is that one blackbird so far away? What is he doing? Now he's coming. He's almost coming at 1 kilometer a second or something like that. Maybe a little bit slower than that. Maybe like 500 meters a second. It's partially because we're going toward him and he's coming toward us. So our two combined velocities are making that distance drop pretty quickly. I'm wondering if I'm gonna have to warp out for the next wave. Interesting. Is he trying to go away from me? He is. Okay, so that could be a little bit problematic in the future. Having these enemies that want to run away from us all the time.
Enemy ships detected.
Wow, just from
Autopilot
8 kilometers away.
We're under attack.
Warp drive active.
Alright, so we're gonna warp away and warp back in, so that way I am only like 20 kilometers away. And that way I'm not having to take, like, the full damage to the face. Like,
Warp
for a
drive
long
active.
time. We'll only need a couple of minutes to get within range. There we go. So we're pretty close here. A little bit.
We're being warp scrambled. We're under attack.
there's a scrambler on us, but that is okay. We do not use a micro warp drive. It'll just try to slow us down a little bit for... damage is pretty high. That's why we got that double armor repair. Wow, that is quite a lot of DPS. We're kind of out healing it, but not like hugely. If we get hit with like a wrecking shot, it could really hurt us a lot. Let's take out this scrambler. And we've lowered a little bit of DPS by killing that one cruiser. It's not too bad. Yeah, that's definitely a little bit of a tough one there. Now we've got the DPS down to a manageable level for us. This is wave 3, so that's not too bad. We at least know we can make it through, but it's a little bit tight on that initial interaction. I'm glad we took the extra healing. Because I don't think we would have made it with less healing. Alright, so what I think I've decided today is I'm not going to do all these missions, I'm just going to do the other 1.5 and I'll call it a day. I think that will be a very nice end to our day. Ooh, pretty reliable damage though. 1,400 and a bunch of 1,200s. That was nice.
Autopilot
Alright, we're gonna
engaged.
head toward the other mission here.
Warp drive active.
And it will be our last mission of the day. And that's awesome. Being able to make 1.5 million within one bounty tick, just from the mission alone, and then that mission itself took one full bounty tick, so that was... In 20 minutes, we have made... What is that? 3 million, 4.5 million? Wow. Hey, that's not what I wanted to know.
Autopilot disabled. Autopilot engaged. Autopilot engaged. Warp drive active.
I wonder if it would be worth dropping the DPS module for maybe a capacitor battery, or... I don't even know if I can get one of those fancy armor plates. They're probably too expensive anyway.
Destination reached. Warp drive active.
We're under attack.
Alright, let's do this one more time. This will be pretty much identical to the last mission, but I want to see if the enemies are going to be similar, where they're trying to run away, or if they're going to stay within range. It looks like the battle cruiser is going to stay within range, which is nice. We do not want to see a ranged battle cruiser. That's the one that was running away from us in the last mission. Ah, he's got missiles though. Interesting. That's actually pretty good for us, because the medium missiles are gonna have a little bit of trouble unless those are medium torpedoes. I say they're gonna have trouble, but that kinda hurt. So it might be that I have to just focus the battle cruiser first out of all the enemies. And just have to deal with the damage coming in. Especially if it's got the missiles. It could be problematic. Guidance disruptor does not do anything to us. Thank God, we're not a missile ship. I wonder if I should grab that battle cruiser. What? Okay, so he did have torpedoes. So the medium torpedoes have really bad application, because their explosion radius and their explosion velocity, just don't work well together, usually. The explosion velocity is quite a bit slower than the explosion radius is large. And when you combine those two together, it means that slightly faster moving ships can just avoid the damage from the medium torpedoes. Yeah, good luck on your missile training for that, Azen. It should also help you to slowly start to solo DR4 again. What are you gonna do about that, Azen? What plan do you have to deal with not being able to do DR again? Especially if they remove the level 1 through 9, like they say they're going to. Are you just gonna join me on the carries, if we have infinite carries? My hope is that normal mode will be infinite runs, as many runs as we want, but it could be that we're limited, but if it is as many runs as we want, there's always that option to join me on those. Or if you want to be part of the elite team for the challenge runs. Pretty sure that's gonna be me, Jenner, maybe Susie with her Moros, Hubris, whatever, and you if you want to join for that. Yeah, the Javelin is such a good module. It might be a little bit too good, but I'm not complaining. Yeah, that's pretty good, that you're carrying 3 people through DR1. I think this thing has torpedoes on it. Let me see. Just keeping an eye on what weapon system comes at us. Yeah, that's medium torpedoes again. That's nice. It's a lot easier than dealing with the ranged Ferox. I'm honestly not seeing a lot of damage come in from any of the blackbirds either. So I don't know what's going on there. I do know I want this one gone next, though. I mean, the drone marshal is just the Dominic's Navy issue. To be honest. So that was actually standard medium missiles. You can see here, as long as we're going faster than 95 meters a second, we're gonna be able to escape that damage pretty well. The torpedoes are actually not that bad. I thought they were a lot worse. They're the same velocity that they are explosion radius, so they're gonna have pretty instant damage application. This Nosferatu is hitting us pretty hard right now. We're sitting about 48%, 49% capacitor, 46% capacitor. Now we're back up to 51. But we're fine right now. Yeah, they probably need to change the Shanghai to have 4 drone slots, and then it'll be a really good upgrade from the Siam. It's already a pretty good upgrade from the Siam, but it does not compare with the Lucid Moon. I think if they give it the extra fighter slot, it'll be pretty much the same as Lucid Moon. Give the Lucid Moon a heavy fighter slot. Or the tactical supercarrier, lightweight battle cruisers. I think that would be a lot of fun on the Lucid Moon, having the lightweight battle cruisers. Alright, let's see what happens here. This is wave 3. They spawned 27 kilometers away, so I think we can just head that way.
Under attack.
I'm gonna focus fire on this thing now.
Attack.
I'm honestly surprised he's not just charging me as fast as he can. Give it a Seaways? Oh god. Just let us put 3 Seaways on it. damage isn't that bad. This must be a, battle cruiser with the large missiles. Instead of the torpedoes. Yeah, might as well get a super carrier out of the Lucid Moon if you've got it fully set up. That'd be funny. I'm gonna head toward that battle cruiser next. You can see that little pause we had there? It allowed the missiles to apply almost full damage for like 1 or 2 hits, so I had to use the extra armor repair to offset that. We're down to 40% capacitor, which is a little rough, but once we get within range for the Nosferatu, we'll be okay. I'm definitely gonna need to look into some capacitor wigs or something. Maybe a better Nosferatu. Can I fit? No. I cannot fit a large Nosferatu. I keep forgetting that I don't have very good drone command range. So my drone just kind of sits around doing nothing. It's why I should consider having a salvage drone. Yeah, you know it. You know it. Imagine a high-sec one of those. That would make me very happy if I could have a high-sec one like that. I would probably sell the Wyvern to get that. I think the only downside to that is it would only be able to dock in an ITC, Interstellar Trade Center. So you'd have to fly it. You'd have to fly it from, like, Gino to wherever you're going and then dock back at Gino. Yeah, I think I just saw our highest damage number yet, 1,633. This time we did not have to warp out to our adjust. It will have Sun Chaser with 18 light year jump range. Yeah, probably. Just use it to jump the entire map. Might as well. Alright. That was pretty good. Let's go ahead and dock up back at Gina.
Autopilot
We'll
engaged.
wait a little bit to get our bounty tick. We'll double that and we'll see where we're at.
Warp
Should be at
drive
like
active.
9 or 10 million. Yeah, that went a lot better than the first mission. The first mission was kind of a worst case scenario. With the enemies we got. There's the bounty tick. Yeah, so we're completing the hardest missions in one bounty tick. That is really nice. And we'll double that.
Warp drive active.
We are at 9 million. We could do some
Docking
upgrades,
request accepted.
but I don't need it if I'm gonna be running those missions only once in a while. Man, I really like the changing color as we move around here. It's too bad it doesn't show very well in space. But it does have a very nice color change. Let's see, is any of this actually worth anything? 106 million for that. That's not worth anything right now. And then I think I picked up something else. Ah, the railgun. Okay. Let's go ahead and reprocess these. Did I say 106 million or 106,000? Oh yeah, no, those things have always been expensive. Yeah. Yeah, they've always been very expensive. They've gone up a little bit recently, though. Right, so that is our wallet for the end of the stream. 9.1 million-ish. Did well with Concord here. We didn't get a level, though, which is unfortunate. Kinda hoping we could have gotten, like, 2 levels. Or something. Yeah, it would have had to be 3 levels for me to get it. What else do we have in here? Let us open our random crate from... Ooh, nice. Those are worth quite a bit. And where did they go? See these? There they are. Right, so we have these as backup just in case we need them. And then we also have these in case we need them. But that's 130 million. Which is almost enough to get a succubus. We're very close. I want to open 3 of these, see what we get. Okay, nothing really that useful. Not for me right now, at least. So yeah, I'd have... And that's even 33% below normal value. Wow. So we're probably closer to like 150 million there. Alright. And I think we have... No, there's no more chances to get any more of those in this Concord Pass. Okay. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today. We had some great success. We upgraded to the regular Omen. And it looks like we're going to be able to get through, to the Mauler pretty quickly, to be honest. That was 2 bounty ticks that we were able to get 9 million. So if we can keep up that kind of income, or at least close to that income, we should have it, the Mauler, within about 4 or 5 hours. And then after that, it's just gonna be grinding for the succubus and all that. And the crew ore. So, thank you all so much for joining me today. I appreciate all the support you've been. I'll try to get back into streaming a little bit more often. It's been kind of crazy lately. But we'll get back into it. I will see you on the next one. Take care. And be safe.